Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm excited to get out in the woods. We are going to go do a thing. Today in this video we are actually going on a solo overnight camping expedition off of the magicycle. So it is kind of a cool overcast day. I'm hoping we don't get rained on. I did not bring anything for rain other than a little tarp cover for the hammock. We will be showing you guys all the gear once we get up the mountain, but for right now, the challenge, what we decided to do was put all of the gear, all of my backpacking gear onto the magicycle, so utilizing the rack systems on this thing. I did not bring a backpack. Normally I would take a backpack into the woods with all my stuff, but the challenge, the goal is to solo overnight on an e-bike. So guys, let's get started. I'm excited. We are going to ride into the woods here, locate us an area that we'd like to build a camp. We are in grizzly country, so we are dressed appropriately for it, but hopefully we won't run into any of those guys waking up. It's a good day for camping. Come along, hit the subscribe button if you're new. Let's go. Trip is going great so far, guys. This thing is just awesome on these back roads, these back trails, being able to quietly get through this stuff, access roads that are just inaccessible currently due to mud or snowpack still. I was moving so quietly through here, I actually came up on some ducks that were sitting in the middle of a little puddle in the road. I was so quiet that I snuck right up on them, scared them. So it's just great to cruise through, and then you get to see these awesome views without having to necessarily bring a rig into the backcountry. This is a great spot for a campsite next to the river, but this is not where we will be setting up camp tonight because we are hammock camping, which means we need trees, and there's just no trees next to this little area. As you can see, there's no trees next to the river, but we don't want to camp next to the river anyway. The mosquitoes are just starting to come out. I'm sure they're probably a little worse down here. Still a bit cold, but they are coming out, so we want to get away from the bodies of water if we can help it. Great place to do some fly fishing, but not on this video, guys. Let's hit the trail and go find us a nice campsite. This looks like a great spot. So I found a cool little area just off of the river, and it is up in an area enough to where there's no wind. There's been wind the entire time I've been out riding, and this is a nice little pocket, and it looks like I've got some good trees here to be able to throw up my hammock, and then a nice little space there to clear for a little campfire. I've been out riding for 2.5 hours now, so we're going to set up camp and get things going because the sun will be dropping here very shortly, and I know it gets very cold in this area at night, so I want to get the fire going. I got a couple of boots I need to get off because we did go into a couple of puddles because some mud and sticks stopped us that we couldn't see. So my socks and my shoes are wet, so we'll be getting those dried out as well. And as I'm sitting here talking about it, I remembered I did not pack an extra pair of socks, so we need to get them dry. All right, let's get camp strung. I'll show you guys my hammock, show you my accessories with my hammock, and then we will get a little fire going. Let's go through the gear real quick, guys, and I'll show you what it is I actually brought on this entire trip. I put this dry bag up front, but I stuffed it with a bunch of my camping supplies. Small fire kit. Non-insulated blanket. This is going to be my underline quilt for my hammock. And a small pillow that I generally lose in my hammock at night while I'm trying to sleep. So that's everything that we stuffed in on the front bag. So put it in the bag, threw it on the front rack. So that's a bunch of my sleeping gear basically. I'm going to show you guys what I did to the back. Side pouch, my hammock, and a saw for gathering wood. This is a shelter. It is a tarp that goes over the hammock if need be, but allows you to get out of the rain. And it's basically four-sided. You can configure it in some different ways, but this will go over my hammock if the rain starts to come up. It also can just be doubled as a camp shelter if I want to just stick it out kind of by the fire, next to the fire, allow me to be out of the rain, but next to the fire. Next up is just kind of my overnight kit. So this is a wool hat, some wool gloves, and there's actually a pair of wool socks in there. So I did in fact bring an extra pair of socks. This thing gets put in from one bag to the next, so I forgot that there were socks in there, but basically my wool overnight kit to keep me warm. On top here is my Nalgene bottle full of water. That's the way I like to carry it. I find it very useful to have it in that Nalgene bottle. And that bottle actually glows in the dark too, which is beneficial. And then inside the main bag is a MRE, just a meal ready to eat. Got my jet boil stove, which I won't really need for that, but this just always comes with me if I want to make tea or coffee in the morning. Whatever I want to do, this thing is the do-all. And normally I'm taking dehydrated meals with me, which means you have to boil water and then dump them in, but I just happened to grab an MRE for this trip. And then last but not least, a titanium spoon, Spork, I guess. This titanium Spork I take on all my trips, and it's perfect for those big bags of dehydrated food, or the MREs as well if you don't want to try and slurp it out of the thing. That is a titanium Sea to Summit Spork, and I've got multiples of these because I have been on camping trips where guys get up there and they're like, oh, I forgot a fork, I don't have a spoon, I have nothing. So always bring one for a buddy. Super light, easy to pack. Alright guys, that is it for what I brought on my bike. So I've got shelter, I've got food, I've got water, I've got everything I need to pull off an overnighter here out in the woods. So on me, on my person, what I am carrying, aside from my firearm, I have a pocket knife, which goes with me almost everywhere if I can remember it. I have a small O-light, looks like it was on, so that'll probably die when I need it. Down in my cargo pocket, just a bunch of 550 cord because you always need it for something. So I throw a little spool in the cargo pocket. And on this side, a tourniquet, just in case. Last item, as always, and I usually double up on them, a lighter. Just a simple Bic lighter. One of the downsides to sleeping in a hammock is the fact that you can get very cold, so you have no insulation underneath you, which means you may need to, depending on the weather, buy a separate product. So this is going to be our under quilt. You can get an under quilt, you can get an over quilt, as well as add blankets. So an under quilt is going to wrap up underneath our hammock, and that traps your body heat from leaving out the bottom. So this is actually a new addition. This is gonna be the first time I've tried it out. I have hammock camped multiple times, and I know all about getting cold spots in your body because it's all just dumping out the bottom. So I'm very excited to be able to use this. All right, guys, temperature is starting to drop. We got a couple more hours before it's actually going to be dark in here, so we're just gonna get the fire going, kind of warm up, get my shoes dried off for the morning, so when I'm slipping back into them, we can get out of here in dry shoes. One of the quickest, easiest ways that I like to get my fires going is by using these fuel tablets. These things burn at 1500 degrees. It is so nice to just even grab wet stuff, throw it down, and get your fire going without having to hassle with it or mess with it. So I always keep these fuel tabs on me, as well as a lighter. Just that simple, making your fire so easy that you don't have to mess with it. It takes the fun and the challenge out of it, but I like to get the fire going, have it going, and not have to worry about whether or not I'm actually going to get my fire at night. Most of the snow out here has just melted off, so not all of this stuff is that dry. So these little fuel tablets will really help to get a boost on the fire and get it going quick. So they're simple. You just set them in there, hit them with the lighter. They take the flame pretty quickly, and then once they are lit, they stay lit for about 15 minutes. So that is it. The fire is going. We'll put some sticks on it, get her a little bit bigger, and then get settled in for the evening. Alright guys, well that is it for me tonight. The whole point of this video is to see how I'd be able to pull off a overnight camping trip off of an e-bike, in this case a magicycle. So we got all the gear on there, we got all the gear set up. The only thing that I find myself wanting to be able to do is mount some kind of a rifle onto the bike, whether that's on the handlebars or in a scabbard. I don't really know. A task for another day, I guess. But well, that is it for me, guys. I am off to bed. I'm gonna let this fire burn down, get in the hammock, and watch the stars come out. So thank you so much for watching, and we will catch you on the next one.